Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Steelers Kenny Pickett explains his strong performance versus Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers brought a winning 6-4 record into their Week 12 road game against the struggling and injured Cincinnati Bengals. Despite that winning record, the Pittsburgh offense has been an issue throughout the season. Quarterback Kenny Pickett has endured quite a bit of criticism for a lack of productivity, but that situation appears to be changing. Head coach Mike Tomlin made a change to his coaching staff earlier in the week, as offensive coordinator Matt Canada was fired from his position. The Steelers promoted Eddie Faulkner to the position of interim offensive coordinator, and the Pittsburgh offense responded with its best offensive performance of the season. The Steelers gained 421 yards of total offense, and that marked the first time in 58 games that they had exceeded the 400-yard mark. Much of that is on Pickett, who completed 24 of 33 passes for 278 yards and did not throw an interception. The quarterback said that putting together a strong offensive performance was quite satisfying. "It was great on my end and on our end," Kenny Pickett said. "Football is the ultimate team game. Especially on offense when you need everybody working together with all 11 of us on the same page in order to be successful. For myself and the guys in the locker room, we are all really happy. We are coming out here with a W, and now we go home to Heinz." The Steelers have a favorable schedule, with consecutive home games coming up against the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots. Both of those teams have struggled badly throughout the season. On Sunday, everyone got a first look at the new and improved Pittsburgh Steelers offense. The Steelers eked out a 16-10 win over the Cincinnati Bengals, which on its surface wasn't all that impressive. But if you have been watching this team all season, you understand why there is so much to be excited about. Pickett looked sharp, confident and poised en route to his best game of the season. 278 passing yards on 22 of 34 passing with an 8.4 yards per attempt average is remarkable given how poorly this pass offense had run all season. In addition, offensive coordinator Eddie Faulkner and play caller Mike Sullivan immediately attacked the middle of the field with tight end Pat Freiermuth. Something we hadn't seen in 2 seasons under Matt Canada. Obviously, this newfound passing game needs to start generating points, and not just yards, but when you consider Pickett had a touchdown called incomplete that shouldn't have been, things look even better from Sunday's performance. Now the Steelers return home to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Pickett and the offense has another week to prepare and tweak this new offense to help it grow as the Steelers stay in the thick of the playoff hunt. Steelers Mike Tomlin salutes Kenny Pickett after beating Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers have reason to hold their heads up high and feel confident for the first time this season. Mike Tomlin's team played its best offensive game of the season behind the confident play of quarterback Kenny Pickett as the Steelers registered a 16-10 road victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. The score may have been close, but the Steelers' offense finally got it going. That unit registered a season-high 421 yards against the Bengals defense. Much of the offensive surge has to be linked to the firing of previous offensive coordinator Matt Canada. He was heavily criticized for his conservative and predictable play calls. Under interim offensive coordinator Eddie Faulkner, the Steelers came out firing and they were able to play confidently for 60 minutes. Pickett has endured plenty of criticism this season, but he has consistently shown that he knows how to come through when the game is on the line in the fourth quarter. He seemed to play with more freedom under the team's new offensive setup, and he completed 24 of 33 passes for 278 yards, and he did not throw an interception. Tight end Pat Freiermuth was his primary weapon, as the pair connected on 9 of 11 targets for 120 yards. Pickett also hooked up with big play wideout George Pickens on 3 occasions for 58 yards, including a 43-yard big play. Tomlin stood up for himself and his quarterback after the Steelers improved their record to 7-4. "Guys like myself and Kenny Pickett. Man, we're judged based on winning and losing. And we don't run from that. He and I are winners today." Thankfully, the missed call by Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin didn't cost his team on Sunday, but it certainly could have. Early in Sunday's 16-10 win over the Cincinnati Bengals, a touchdown by wide receiver Deontay Johnson was called an incomplete pass but was definitely a touchdown. Tomlin didn't challenge the play, and he talked about why he didn't after the game. "They were definitive and I lost vision of it," Tomlin said. "There were people between me and him. I couldn't count steps. They never gave us another look at it in the stadium and we didn't get a quick enough look at it up top. Sometimes it happens when you're on the road. Some games being on the road, some games being at home, all those things even out in the big scheme of things. At first glance, it did feel like a survive the ground situation, but upon review, you could see that third step pretty clearly. It's unfortunate the officials missed this, and Tomlin should be very happy his failure to act didn't come back to haunt this team. Despite only scoring 16 points on Sunday, this was the best offensive performance of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just days after firing Matt Canada, the Steelers pulled off a 16-10 win over the Cincinnati Bengals, and as head coach Mike Tomlin pointed out after the game, this is how they are judged. "We did what we needed to do to win," Tomlin said. "Guys like myself and Kenny, man, we're judged based on winning and losing. And we don't run from that. So he and I are winners today." It took Tomlin more than 2 months to finally make the hard decision to fire Matt Canada, but better late than never. The Steelers' offense not only won on Sunday but topped 400 yards of offense for the first time in 59 games. As great as Tomlin has to feel about this, he has to be kicking himself for not making the change sooner. Steelers confirm interest in signing Pro Bowl LB. The Steelers moved one step closer to a serious pursuit of signing free agent linebacker Shaquille Leonard with a public pronouncement from the head coach that America's team is definitely interested in acquiring the standout free agent. "I don't have anything to report on Shaq," he said Sunday here at the Star, first trying to quell the hype before adding, "But yes, there's definitely interest," what Steelers.com reported last Tuesday, when following Leonard's shocking departure from the Indianapolis Colts, we reported that Steelers expected Leonard, due to his bloated contract, to clear waivers, which he did, and that once that happened, Steelers would explore the idea of making an offer, which is happening now. Shaq Leonard. Later in the week, a source told Steelers.com that the recruiting process was underway, an idea that served as a reaffirmation of the Steelers owner saying the team had reached out to make contact with Leonard, 28 years, who was a 3-time All-Pro early in his career but is now seen as a run-stopping helper and locker room leader. Steelers recruiting Shaq begins with a phone call on Sunday. Leonard was still in Indianapolis and showed up, in a suite, not on the sideline, at Lucas Oil Stadium to watch his former teammates beat the Buccaneers on Sunday. There was speculation that the Philadelphia Eagles, Minnesota Vikings, and Buffalo Bills could be other playoff teams that could pursue Leonard. But this is speculation. The interest of Steelers? It was a fact since Tuesday. And now that Steelers has confirmed he's on the team's radar, it's an open secret, with bidding opening about to begin. The Eagles have maintained their interest in free agent linebacker Shaquille Leonard and could make an offer if Zach Cunningham's hamstring injury keeps him out for an extended period, NFL sources said. Cunningham, who left in the second half of the Eagles' overtime victory against the Bills on Sunday, is slated to undergo an MRI exam this morning, sources said. The Eagles are already down one off-ball linebacker after Nakobe Dean had surgery 2 weeks ago on his foot. He's on injured reserve and is unlikely to be back anytime soon. Leonard is reportedly scheduled to visit the Cowboys on Tuesday. The Eagles reached out to the former Colt and his representation this weekend to gauge his interest, sources said. They would likely need to bring him into the NovaCare complex to work him out and give him a physical. The 28-year-old former All-Pro has dealt with various injuries in recent seasons. Leonard cleared waivers last week after Indianapolis released him. His playing time had decreased and he was inactive in the game before his departure. Cunningham has started all season and been consistent. Nicholas Morrow, who has called plays in the middle, has played alongside him since Dean's first stint on IR. Christian Ellis replaced Cunningham against Buffalo. He had played some defense in the season opener, but was relegated strictly to special teams in the following weeks. Rookie Ben VanSumeren has been promoted off the practice squad in recent weeks to help with special teams. The Eagles are otherwise light at the position. Sean Bradley suffered a season-ending Achilles tendon tear in the preseason. While Leonard may be the biggest name out there, the Eagles are exploring other options at off-ball linebacker. And you fan, what do you think of the Shaquille Leonard situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.